Chapter 5 is activity-based costing, and so we're going to go through first and second stage allocations and talk about some of the terminology and how it's calculated and why we do this and all that good stuff. So this is a bank, and they're looking at the efficiency of operations. And so we have teller wages, we have assistant branch manager salary, and we have branch manager salary. These are some of the costs that we have. And I picked this one because it's not production. So I wanted you to kind of see how things work in the service world. Teller wages are $160,000. Actually, excuse me. So we're going to go with these wages. $150,000 assistant branch manager salary, $69,000 in branch manager salary, $91,000. And then we're going to look at different activities that we have, and we have opening accounts. I like this example too because almost everyone knows how banks operate. You've been in one. So we have processing, deposits, and withdrawals. We have processing other transactions. And then we have other activities. And so even though it's not a very detailed breakdown, we did go from one rate, if we did predetermined overhead rate, to 4 activities. And so we can get a better allocation of our overhead because we have these different activities. Now what we have to figure out is how much time or what percentage they're spending on these. And so we can look at it this way. All right, so again, just kind of gives us our information so that we can move forward with this analysis. Okay, so then through analysis, we determined that tellers spend 3% of their time opening accounts, 68% processing deposits and withdrawals, other customer transaction 20%, and other activities 9%. Now, what we're doing to make sure we did this right, we want to make sure these all equal 100%. So what we've done, sorry, I am choked. Let me get a drink. So what we've done here in real life, you would interview or monitor, and you would try to figure out how much time they're spending on each of the activities that you've broken down. So we have 4 activities, and we have overhead that we're trying to allocate. So they ask us in this problem, in some of your homework problems, I should say, to do a first stage allocation. So we're doing an activity-based costing study, and we're doing a first stage allocation. So to do our first stage allocation, I'm just going to copy this down here and remove that. And so what we're asking on a first stage allocation is what percentage times the total amount, and then we're allocating those funds. And we want to make sure that because I had percentages there before. Okay. And if you're familiar with Excel, I should be able to go in here and make that an absolute and carry that over. And that should work for me. And then I can total these. That should give me my 150. Okay, so basically what we said is of this $150,000 of teller wages, 3% goes to opening accounts, 68% to processing, deposits and withdrawals, other activities, and we've got our total over here. And so I can do the same thing here. My assistant branch manager's salary, I can make that an absolute and make that relative, and then I can carry that across. I can do the same thing here. I'm allocating my branch manager's salary. Carry that across. And then go ahead and total all of these and make sure I've got my 69, my 91. Okay, this is a first stage allocation. That's all we do. And obviously we see here that branch managers don't do processing of deposits and withdrawals. And this is why we do activity-based costing, so that we can see things like this. And now we're going to go down and we're going to do the second stage allocation. So to do this, we have to know the activity rate. So we're going to use 500 accounts opened. Didn't like that, did it? And we're going to use 100,000 deposits and withdrawals. Those are my activities, and 5,000 other customer transactions. So now what we want to do is we want to come up with a rate. And so we would, this is our activity amount right here. So then we come down to our rate, and we're going to have to do some totals here first. There's my totals. And so for my rate, I would take my total opening accounts that I have allocated divided by my number, my driver. And so this would be $36.54 per account opened. And we do the same thing here. Deposits and withdrawals divided by the number of deposits and withdrawals. And these are rates, dollar amount rates, and so I'm going to go ahead and convert those. And so that's per deposit or withdrawal. And then same thing over here. And that's per other customer transaction. Now, you notice we didn't allocate other. We're not talking about that right now. And so now what we want to do, and so we've got this information, what do we do with it? So one thing we can do is we can compare it to other branches, for example. So let's say we took all of this information and we came up, this is kind of this is our answer, so to speak, from our analysis. And we said, okay, at this other branch, it's $26.75 allocated, it's $1.24 allocated, and it's $11.86 allocated. So what does this tell us about this branch? They're not quite as efficient in opening accounts. They're a little more efficient in processing deposits and withdrawals, and they're about the same on other customer transactions. So that's one thing we can do with this analysis. The other thing we can do with an analysis, and I'm going to try to kind of change gears here and kind of go to another one, and look at how you assign costs to an order using activity-based cost. So to go to the kind of the next allocation, what we want to look at is what is the total overhead assigned. And so let's say that we have a customer, and it's a really good customer, and we're trying to see how much overhead was assigned to that particular customer. So, and this one isn't as good as an analysis for that, but this is a really good analysis for comparison. And so let's say that this particular customer, I'm just going to go ahead and put to customer, opened 2 accounts, made 24 deposits and withdrawals, and had 4 other transactions. So what we would do is simply take our rate times the number of activities that particular customer had. Same thing here. And what we have done is we have assigned part of our overhead to this customer. So this customer cost us in overhead $130.70. So what information, how does that help us? Well, then we can look at the profitability of the customer if that's something we're interested in. We can look at what it cost us to keep a customer. It cost $130.70. That's not much. And so maybe that customer's making a lot more than that for us. What else could we do to keep that customer? So again, just the beginning of analyzing based on activity-based costing. These are our activities right here. This is our rates right here, and this is how we assign it to customers or jobs.